Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about each of the 4 professions in my video game I'm building, and also give you a first look at the UI I've set up for each of the different professions. I've been using the word profession and school subject interchangeably, so they mean the same thing. But the scene you're viewing now is the castle scene. The castle is where you'll spend your time in between dungeons, turning in quests, leveling up your professions, and conjuring new Infernomon. Right now there's no NPCs, but eventually I'll be adding the school professors as well as other students. Professors are the ones you will talk to when you need to accept and turn in quests for your different school professions. When you're in the castle scene, you'll have a number of different UI options on the HUD. Right now, these 2 buttons up here are test buttons, but all these buttons down here are buttons I'll keep. Of course, the buttons will have updated graphics in the future. I just have some placeholders here for now. This test button here is for displaying your inventory and equipping items. But I've since updated that. This is going to be your team builder view. It looks a little bit better. Still a lot of updates I need to do. There's also all these buttons around here that'll create different items for you when you click them. So this will all be gone when the game is actually launched. Then I have another test view here where I'm kind of condensing it and making it a little easier to, add different materials just by clicking a button. And so for now, we'll just be taking a look at the spell books. So if I go here, conjuring is probably the most exciting profession, so we'll save that for last. But for now, we'll go and review enchanting. So for those that aren't aware, my game is a 2D RPG dungeon crawler, and some of the rewards that you get for beating dungeons are equipables. And so there will be hats, robes, staffs, and wands that will drop within the dungeon after you complete it. And if I go to the test screen that I built before, each of the drops will have a random set of stats assigned to it when the item is dropped. And so the pieces of armor that you're viewing here are the pieces of gear that are currently equipped on the player. And this typing up here at the top left is the current elemental typing that the item has. And so the elemental typing in the game will provide either a bonus resistance if it's on a piece of armor, or it'll provide bonus damage if it's on a staff or a wand. So for example, if you have Blight equipped on your hat, then incoming water attacks will do less damage because water is weak to blight. And then also, depending on what rank your profession is, it'll provide bonus resistance the more you rank it up. And so I'm thinking I'll have like a 2% bonus resistance for each rank that you rank up. The max rank will be 6. And so for example, if you are at rank 6, enchant your hat with blight, it'll have a bonus, 2 times 6 is 12. So we'll have a bonus 12% resistance against incoming water attacks. And on the other hand, if you have your wand or staff with an elemental typing on it, they'll do bonus damage against types that it's super effective against. So for example, I have electric equipped on my wand and my staff, so if I'm attacking a water Infernomon, it'll do bonus damage to water. And so if I want to update the enchantment on any piece of armor or weapon, I just click that elemental typing below the item, and as long as I have the required materials, I can click enchant, and it'll update that elemental typing on the piece of armor. And you notice that when I did that, I ranked up a little bit. So if I want to go back to Blight and do enchant, you'll see that will rank up my profession experience a little bit. So you'll be able to rank up your professions by either just doing your profession enchanting, or by completing quests from the enchanting professor at the school. Now we'll move on to the next profession, which is gem crafting. So this, like I said, these views are going to be updated. They're not final. So this is kind of ugly right now, but gems can be equipped on an Infernomon pendant. And so a pendant is a held item on an Infernomon, similar to a piece of armor or a weapon on a player. If I go back to my test view, I'll go ahead and equip this pendant on my Chiropter. And so once I do that, these bonus stats will be applied to my Chiropter's stats. And you can also see that there's 2 empty gem slots here. So that's where we'll be creating new gems and equipping gems onto this pendant. Also, pendants in my game will have a certain gameplay mechanic buff. So for example, maybe one of the pendants will have an increased auto attack speed, or maybe your attacks will chain damage to additional opponents, or maybe there will be a pendant that gives you bonus damage if you get a critical strike, or something like that. So if we go back to the gem crafting view, let's say that I want to create 2 agility gems. I'm currently rank 2. I'll just go ahead and create 2 of these, have the required mats. So I'll just select a conjure, rank up my profession a little bit. And now if I go back to my test view, you can see I have 2 new gems. And these are agility gems. I need to update these the hovers. But like I said, this is just a test view, so a lot of this will be updated. So for example, let's say this pendant provided bonus critical strike damage. Well, agility increases your chance of getting a critical strike, so maybe I want to just have my chiropter do a ton of critical strike damage and be doing critical strikes a lot. I'll go ahead and equip 2 agility gems. Numbers are a little bit messed up. For some reason it's showing negative right now. But essentially this will provide your pendant with bonus agility, so your chiropter is going to be doing a lot of critical strikes and doing a lot of critical strike damage. Next, we'll move on to potion making. Potion making is probably the most straightforward profession in the game. I currently don't have this working in battle. I can just have the ability to create potions, but very similar to other professions. As long as you have the required materials, you can conjure that item. That'll give you an additional charge for that potion to be used in battle. Right now I have different potions that'll buff each of the different stats in your game. I may add different potions later on that'll do more gameplay mechanic specific type buffs, but for now they're just boosting stats. And of course, when you conjure a potion, it ranks up your experience. And so the more you rank up, the stronger the potions will get. So basically an HP potion will heal all of your Infernomon and your player's HP. Your attack potion will give an attack buff, and then all these potions, when you use them, they'll buff your Infernomon for, I don't know, 10 seconds or something, I haven't decided. And then the potion charge will be like on a 30-second cooldown or something like that. So now the last profession we're going to look at is conjuring. Eventually I'll have this look more like a spell book. So this is the profession you'll use to conjure new Infernomon. You'll beat dungeons to acquire these different essences, and as long as you have the required essences and you've beaten that Infernomon in a dungeon, then you can acquire the recipe and then conjure that Infernomon. So let's say, for example, you wanted to summon a Shello. A Shello is an Infernomon that is in the very first dungeon in the game. So once you beat the first dungeon in the game, this recipe becomes available, and then as long as you have the required essences for summoning a Shello, you can conjure him. Also, the more rare an Infernomon is, the harder it'll be to conjure. So for example, if we go to Infernomon, who's the most rare Infernomon in the game, he is a legendary, so you're going to need a legendary essence to summon him, and legendary essences are a random drop in a dungeon, and they're very rare to find. Whereas something like Godclaw, he's a common Infernomon and requires a common essence to summon, plus all of his other essences, of course. But the common essence is very easy to come by, so you'll be able to summon him very easily. Whereas Venonid, he's rare. Rare's kind of in the middle, so Venonid's somewhat difficult to acquire a rare essence to summon. And of course, there will be no microtransactions in my game, but you'll also be able to save up in-game currency to buy these essences. But for now, let's go back and just focus on Venonid. So if I have the required mats to summon Venonid, clicking this will conjure Venonid. And then also, when you battle with Venonid in dungeons, you'll gain experience points, and the more experience points you'll get, you'll level your Venonid up. He'll eventually evolve into Decaynid, who then evolves into Festernid, and with each evolution, their base stats get stronger. So Festernid's the last evolution, and he has really high agility and really high attack, so he's the strongest. And then also, when you summon an Infernomon, it comes with 1 random basic attack and 2 random natural attacks, as well as 1 acquired attack. So the basic attacks, when these are assigned, they cannot be changed, as well as the natural attacks, they cannot be changed. So the one basic attack and the 2 natural attacks that you get, those are final when you summon your Infernomon. But your acquired attack is an attack that is assigned at random, but can also be changed later on in the game. And you can change that however many times you want. So if you want to get the attacks that you want, you'll probably need to summon that Infernomon a few times before you have the perfect attack set up that you like, unless you're lucky and summon him and he has like an attack lineup that you like the very first time. So now we'll just go ahead and click conjure. So now we've conjured a new Venonid. I created this random basic attack, and then 2 random natural attacks, and then 1 random acquired attack. So this is the attack that can be changed later on, while these 3 attacks are final. You'll also notice that this Infernomon has individual stats that rank from 1 all the way to 5, and that provides a modification to your Infernomon stats. And so you want to have good individual stats, and these are also randomized when the Infernomon is summoned. So your goal will of course be to summon an Infernomon that has 5 stars, which is going to be pretty hard to do. It's pretty rare. You'll also get this appraisal when your Infernomon is summoned, letting you know when you've summoned a new Infernomon that has set a record for the highest overall stats for each individual stat. So this is comparing against all the other Venonids you had. So this is saying, of all the Venonids you summoned, this one that you just summoned has, it's your highest overall rated Venonid. It has the highest HP of all the Venonids you have, it's your highest attack Venonid, and so forth. And also, each of the 5 stats will have a random buff. Will give you an additional 10% bonus in that stat. So this Venonid got a bonus agility. So his agility is a 4, so that's pretty good. And then he also has the bonus 10%, making his agility really good. So this Venonid, I probably want to do something like equip agility gems on and make him have a really high agility stat and really capitalize on that critical strike damage. So there's a lot of randomization that goes into conjuring your Infernomon, so you'll probably want to conjure Infernomon a handful of times before you get the exact Infernomon that you want, and I think that's going to be one of the fun aspects in the game, is hunting down like the perfect Infernomon. And so when you summon your Infernomon, you have the option to recycle him, or just to continue and keep him. So if you recycle, if you summon, you know, like some bad 1-star Infernomon that you don't want, you can recycle and get a portion of your materials back for summoning. Or if you like him, this is a good Venomid, so I'll just say, okay, I'm going to continue. And then now he's added to your lineup, so I can go to my team builder, go to this next bag, and there is the 4-star Venonid that I just conjured. So those are all the professions in my game. Like I said, there's still a lot of work to be done on all the views, and as well as getting all of the professions to actually work in game. I'm thinking in future videos I'll do more vlog style type videos where I'm gradually showing my progress over time. The videos I've done so far have kind of been just showing you what I've done before I created my YouTube channel, so I think it'll be fun to show what my different views and scenes look like as I'm actually building them out. Also, my wife recently had a baby, so family time has been taking a big portion of my time away from game development, but I'm hoping as we get the baby on a schedule and things kind of start to settle down, that I'll be able to kind of go back and spend more time like I was before actually developing and making videos. Anyway, thanks for whoever tuned in, and I will see you in the next video.